Good morning to all of you. My warmest greetings as you gather for Shabbat services today. I want to thank Rabbi Siegel, as well as the Executive Director Mimi Weisberg and the staff here at Anshe Em for such a gracious welcome this morning. It may be a bit of an understatement to say that it's unusual for a Catholic bishop speaking as part of the weekly Shabbat service. Then again, these are not normal times. As you heard, I needed to be in Rome for the Synod for most of October, and so it grieved me to be away from Chicago during these exceedingly difficult days for your community, with whom I feel so very close. I'm so grateful to be with you here today, to personally assure you of my ongoing support of the members of this synagogue and the entire Jewish community here in Chicagoland. The brutal attack of Hamas militants, which desecrated and took the lives of more than 1,000 Israelis, along with the kidnapping of 250 hostages on October the 2nd, has, as you know all too well, left Jews in Israel, Chicago, and throughout the world in a deep state of shock and mourning. Through personal conversations, I have learned the depth of the Jewish community's trauma, and I want to extend my deep condolences to all of you. While some in our area view this as an event occurring a half world away, I know, as much as I can know, how deeply personal this attack is for you. I had the sacred privilege of accompanying my friend, the late Fritzie Fritzl, who served so well as the president of the Illinois Holocaust Museum, in bearing witness to the Holocaust in a pilgrimage of memory to Auschwitz a few years ago. I could not take away her pain, but I could accompany her, as I hope to do with you here today and in the coming days. On that visit, I learned from her testimony and courageous witness that we must tell the story of the Holocaust so that it is never repeated. There is deep pain and trauma that goes with this retelling. But we know what happens when anti-Semitism is unopposed publicly. When allowed to run rampant, anti-Semitism infects our communities, nations, and the world with fear and hatred. Hatred of Jews must never be allowed to be normalized. Since the attack of October 7, countries around the world have reported a sharp rise in anti-Semitic incidents. According to the Anti-Defamation League, anti-Semitic hate crimes in the United States have increased nearly 400% over a year. Some college campuses, places long considered bastions of dialogue and learning, have even seen notable increases in anti-Semitic rhetoric and hate speech. Many Jewish college students and faculty are thinking of leaving campus or hiding obvious signs that they are Jewish. We must be concerned when a generation of Jews is being formed amid a deep fear of even acknowledging their identity in public. Catholics and all people of goodwill cannot be simply quietly concerned about this reality. No, we must speak against such bigotry and such hate. As a Catholic Christian, it is my duty to denounce anti-Semitism. Pope Francis has told all of us in the Catholic community, one cannot be a good Catholic and be an anti-Semite. Catholics must respond to anti-Semitism swiftly and decisively, especially in the aftermath of the deadliest day in Jewish history since the end of the Shoah. I exhort my Catholic brothers and sisters and all people of goodwill to speak out against anti-Semitic acts and speech when confronted with them. It is quite literally a matter of life and death, as you well know. I also join Pope Francis in affirming the fundamental right of Jews to a Jewish state in their historical homeland. You and so many Jews around the world also recognize the national aspirations of the Palestinian people, who also have a legitimate right and something that should be pursued. Yet I cannot turn away from the profound human suffering of civilians, especially children, even newborns, both in Israel and Gaza. These casualties are not just numbers flashed across a screen on nightly news. These casualties include friends, sisters, brothers, sons and daughters, fellow human, beloved and given human beings, given life by God's gift. As Pope Francis has urged, Catholics continue to pray and fast for a cessation of violence in Gaza and Israel and other parts of our war-torn world. I also share the Holy Father's call that we must all be on the side of peace. Likewise, this week, the Holy Father visited with European rabbis, and he stated, "The spread of anti-Semitic demonstrations, which I strongly condemn, is also of great concern." He continued, "In this time in which we are witnessing violence and destruction, we believers are called to build fraternity and open paths of reconciliation for all and before all, in the name of the Almighty, who, as the prophet Jeremiah says, has plans for welfare and not for evil, not weapons, not terrorism, not war, but compassion, justice, and dialogue are the fitting means for building a lasting peace." It is hard to conceive of peace, no doubt, in these very dark times. Yet peace is God's promise to his family. We are all children of God. We will never see peace without an authentic dialogue premised on the inherent dignity of all human beings. Until such recognition takes place, the cycle of violence will continue. I fervently pray for this mutual recognition, grounded in the image of God emblazoned by the divine on all of our sisters and brothers. Supporting that prayer, may we commit to doing our part here in Chicago to encounter one another as brothers and sisters made in God's image. Through this encounter, we can begin to see new possibilities for upholding our shared dignity and thereby reduce the fears that fuel the fires of anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and all other forms of religiously based hate. Through this encounter, we can begin to break down the barriers that separate us from one another due to political affiliation, skin color, or religious affiliations. Through this encounter, we can assist in bringing about a new way of relating to a world desperately in need of healing. I again thank you for your hospitality this morning and for the invitation to address you during your sacred time of prayer. I want you to know that I'm with you. And I understand that you celebrated a bat mitzvah today, and I want to congratulate Stella. Stella, it is for you and your generation that I am here today, to make sure that we live in a world where no Jewish child has to fear or be ashamed of being Jewish. Your presence and your family celebration today is an opportunity to reflect on what is at stake, and for me will be a lasting memory of my visit here to this synagogue. I thank you for allowing me to come and being with you on this important day. May the good and gracious God who has called you here, all of you here this morning, bring you comfort in your sorrow and solace in your time of peace, time of pain. May peace be with all of you. Thank you.